Let me introduce you to another artist, Sharmila Samant, on whose works I've been writing for several years now. Her conceptual trajectories have been defined by her experiences as a Mumbaikar and as a global traveller from an Indian-Asian context. Strongly political, she considers art to be a form of conscience and deliberately plays with a shift of meanings within both her culture and outside it. Through a variety of perceptual experiments and a deceptive visual language, she looks at developments in history, economics, politics and culture. With the 21st century being hailed as an urban century, what is the nature of this debate vis-a-vis the global economy? Samant critiques the concepts of global cities or a shining India that attempts to bury the hardships and histories of the common citizen. Hers is the art of resistance against the rarefied art object and their function in contemporary society. She uses banal materials that refuse to fit into conventional aesthetics. And that is the challenge she presents to the viewer.
When you sort of look at my work, it kind of reflects the viewer's reality. It kind of talks about exactly, I, as an artist, I am a part of society and the viewer is a part of the same society. It's just that I am giving a different perspective than what is popular, trying to communicate what are the things which are happening around us in a way that maybe the viewer has not looked at earlier, or maybe it is just a different perspective than the one which is popularized by media, or let's say popular notions. The way I work is actually reflect upon what happens around me, what I experience as a mother, or as a person living in Bombay, or as an Indian. One is sort of actually a mixture of a lot of things. We in India have not given up our traditional ways of living, nor are we sort of completely westernized. And I prefer to say that we are somewhere in the middle, where we know our past, we know our traditions, we know our culture. At the same time, because of your education and your travel, or the kind of knowledge that one knows, whether it's through the newspapers or the television or the internet, you are almost like global citizens. But again, with citizenship, it is very localized. So we are a mixture of all that. If I am going to be talking about a particular thing, or a particular idea, or a particular malaise in society, then the material is, it just comes as an afterthought, which kind of supplements what I'm trying to say. So I'm not really led by the material itself. It's rather the thought processes which suggest the material. Against the Grain, which was an installation of Dhanakam. Dhanakam is paddy work, which is a traditional sort of handicraft from Orissa, from the Bulangi region. So Against the Grain had the snakes which are made with Dhanakam. So then, of course, we produced about 1,000 snakes, over a period of 1 year. And then I created this field of snakes which were placed on little stands which are made from steel. And then you had the whole installation. So, I mean, right from the idea, which was actually just trying to understand why when India is being the place where cotton has grown for more than 5,000 years, and the need of the government to introduce a genetically modified seed. When a company wants to produce a sterile seed for profit, so that the farmer keeps going back to buy this sterile seed again and again, because it grows but it cannot reproduce. So that is what the work was about. And I thought that was almost like the snake, because on one hand the snake is the friend of the farmers. They make holes which, you know, irrigate the soil, and they kill pests. If you look at Coca-Cola, it began as a chance, sort of, you know, sitting one evening at Venice and looking at a bottle from Italy of Coca-Cola and saying that, my God, this bottle looks so different from the bottle back home. And everybody laughed, because they said that, of course not, Coca-Cola has the same bottle everywhere, it is the same drink. And then, just to prove a point, I took that bottle back. And then, of course, it was different, because if you see the way Coca-Cola works, it goes into a country and it sort of first buys over bottling units. And they look at bottles which are kind of similar to the Coke bottle, and they just print their labels on it. For Coca-Cola, what I did was that every time I traveled, I started collecting these glass Coke bottles, and then I asked for a recipe of a local drink of that country, drinks which could be made at home and which people did have at home before Coca-Cola was so rampantly available everywhere around the world. For the installation itself, I start about 2 days or 3 days before, and I start cooking these various drinks, and then each drink is filled into the bottle from that country. So it also reflects how our own lives are changing within this, you know, different ways that the market has changed, or how globalization is affecting our lives, our urban lives. For the hand-picked rejects, what I do is that I go to either Fashion Street or in Bandra, where they sell these, what they call the export rejects. I look at the reason why this particular garment could have been rejected. So it could be a misstitch, or it could be a button which is low or higher. And after I bring the clothes back, I look at the spots where I can figure out the defect. Then I ask Salim Bhai, who does Zardosi embroidery, to come in, and we decide the spots where the embroidery has to come. And the embroidery says this is an original. So it almost becomes like a second logo or non-logo, which is mine. And he embroiders this line depending on either the colors which we pick from the garment itself, or as a contrast, or something of that sort is done. But then for the installation itself, I make it look like a shop. If they want to buy the garment, then it is mandatory that they also buy the bag with it. It plays with the idea of the work of art against a design object. And what is the garment? It is something that they are going to wear. It's also an artwork. It is an original artwork signed by the artist, but it is also available at a really cheap price. Coke had bought over all our local drinks, like PepsiCo had bought over Dukes, and Coca-Cola had bought over Thumbs Up. So what I did was, instead of having Coca-Cola, I had a drink like, let's say, Thumbs Up, and then I had a crown from a company of Coca-Cola, which was Fanta, and I mixed this one which had bought over what we thought was a local drain, and they were used. So those were called factory made sarees. I had two kinds of labor. One was just collecting, washing and segregating, and then there was the skilled labor. So they actually join the basic chains, and then according to the design I do the rest of the joining. School bag desk was again an open circle project which I had done in 2005 and 6. So so a bag was designed which could be made into a desk, so they could carry the bags home. And there were some kids who wanted to carry even the legs home and then study from their own desk. So it was a very nice feel-good kind of object, and the kids loved getting it. As an artist, I see my role to be a communicator, somebody who is experiencing and living the reality that we all are in. Workshop with the young artists, I'm trying to I gave them three things. One is to relook, one is to rethink, the other is to rethink, and the third is to recreate or recycle. So I've asked them to look at images that they know, which are around them. It could be a moving image, or it could be a still image, it could be an image that they found or that they took. Then look at how that can be transformed, either got into the film, or it could just be an artwork which is like, an sort of amalgamation of all the things that they brought together. Currently we've got 4 themes, and they are one is the feeling of euphoria, and the second is humor, so different ways of looking at humor. The third is sense of achievement, and the fourth was aggression and how that, or violence. So how that is being, so it's, kids have got manga comics and images of, Shiv Sena, people just going for a march. So let's see how it's all being put together.
What really inspired me was her project on shoes. What she did was she went around different countries collecting the shoes from each country. I was intrigued at first as to why she chose shoes, but then I realized that shoes really talk the most about that particular country.
We were in a group of 3, and 3 of us had bought different pictures. I had bought pictures which were collages actually of my family and the trips we've been to, and which were really with sweet memories. So that's why I really like those pictures. My other teammates, they had bought paintings which were on the walls or like on the common streets and everything, and so the other one had got jokes depicted on pictures and some sorrowful pictures. What I'd like to convey through our video clip and through our model also is that one should really spare some time and spend happy times together and overcome the sadness that we have in our lives, because that really helps in changing one's attitude, in one's personality, in one's thought process. It really makes a difference.
I brought a music video, and that really inspired us. So we took a lot of clips from there and of other videos to compile an entire movie. In the beginning, I showed her all my images and my videos, and she pointed out several things that I didn't notice. So I learned a lot, and after we made our entire video, she helped us to improve it.